Am I the a-hole for allowing my grandson to move in against my daughter, his mom's wishes? I have a 16-year-old grandson who has been living with my husband and myself for the last 5.5 months. Last week we appeared in court where it became official after the judge chose to let my grandson decide for himself. My daughter is furious, and she has been this way since he first came to stay with us. I know she's angry we didn't send him back to her. There have been a number of fights about this, and I know she feels like we, as parents, let her down. And maybe we did. I feel like we did right by our grandson but potentially at the cost of our daughter. I have sadness if that's true. Let me explain how we ended up here. My daughter was a single mom to her son for the first 5 years of his life. His dad is a deadbeat who decided he didn't want to be in the life of his child. My daughter and grandson lived with us until he was 2 and then they moved out because she was capable of supporting them both. When my grandson was 4 she met her husband, and when my grandson was 5 they moved in together and got married. My daughter's husband had a son who was 6 when they moved in together. With the boys being so young and close in age, the assumption was they would be close, and my daughter and her husband decided to raise the boys as brothers and to discourage the use of step. They didn't think it would be difficult. While my grandson did see his stepbrother as just his brother, the same was not true for my step-grandson. He has rejected any kind of decent or halfway decent relationship with my grandson. He doesn't count him as being part of his family. He rejects even the stepbrother title. He refused to play with him, refused to be friendly or kind, and he bullied him for years. There was a very hard line drawn, and it was a line my step-grandson never let up on. My grandson did love his stepbrother and wanted to make it work, but that was one-sided. My daughter and her husband encouraged my grandson to keep trying. They encouraged my step-grandson to accept my grandson. They attempted to do many things to help the relationship along, and it only made things worse. My grandson has always felt a great deal of hurt because of this rejection. His self-esteem has been incredibly low for years, and he never understood why his stepbrother hated him so much. He told me before that it felt like even saying hi to his stepbrother was enough to make his stepbrother mad. His stepbrother didn't want him in the same room, didn't want him standing too close or sitting next to him. On vacations my step-grandson expected my grandson to sleep in the bathroom instead of the bedroom they shared. He'd lock him out of shared spaces both at home and on vacation. He locked him out of the house when my daughter and her husband weren't home as well. They were in family therapy for about 3 years, and my grandson found it more hurtful because every time my step-grandson spoke it was to reject him more, or to insult him more, or to express more anger at him. My grandson started increasing his time at our house when he was 13, and he used to say he'd like to live with us. My daughter always dismissed it, and she dismissed the idea of him having sleepovers with us. She told me she didn't want him to crave our house more. She felt he was spending too much time here. We had talked over the years about how bad it was for my grandson to live with daily rejection. She never wanted me to interfere, and I didn't want to lose my grandson or daughter, so I tried to support without angering anyone. But a few weeks after my grandson's 16th birthday, he asked to stay with us, and after talking it out with him we said yes. My daughter said no, but my grandson moved his stuff into our house and refused to go back. My daughter told us we needed to make him go back, but he was miserable, and he said the house was more hostile than ever because his stepbrother brought friends over who treated him badly too. The final straw for my grandson was his stepbrother having those friends sleep over while my daughter and her husband were out, and those 17-year-olds locked him out of the house until 2 a.m. when my daughter and her husband returned. It was raining. My grandson had nothing to keep him warm or protected from the rain, and his phone was inside the house. Of course I knew my daughter would be angry with us, and I don't regret giving my grandson a place where he feels safe and cared for and comfortable, but I'm aware I went against her wishes, and she is his mother.